Just first of all, your general thoughts on that team selection.
Oh, I'm excited about it. It's obviously there's a few changes in there. Obviously, the big one being James captaining the side for the first time, and other guys getting the first opportunity to play there at Twickenham. I'm excited about seeing how they go at the weekend.
Why did you decide to go with Ross Byrne at 10?
He deserves it. He deserves the chance. You know, it's like others. How do you find out about how they cope with the big games, the big occasions, unless you give them the chance? You know, we can't just give them a chance of picking them in a squad and just training the whole time. Obviously, Ross has been involved in some big games for Leinster, and this is his chance to go to Twickenham and be part of a great team performance as well.
Yeah, we've seen in the past like the niggle that would be there between Johnny Sexton and Owen Farrell. Like, how will Ross Byrne kind of, what are your concerns for him coming up against Owen Farrell and England?
I have no concerns whatsoever. He'll play his own game. Ross. Everyone's different, Sinead, aren't they? You know, everyone's got a different temperament, and Ross will be his own guy at the weekend. And how Ross tends to play the game is very calm, cool, and collected.
And what could you say to the Irish fans who may be wary of what happened the last three times we played England? And what could you say to promise them that you won't see a performance like that again?
You can't make promises. You know, I've not got a crystal ball. But what I do know is that this is a different group and it's a different game at the weekend. You know, like you said, we've got new combinations all over the field that are coming together and learning from these type of experiences all the time. And yeah, they've trained well, prepared well, and they can't wait to get out there and show what they can do. How that transpires, I suppose we'll have to wait and see, because, like I keep on saying, a game takes its own course, doesn't it? And you've got to be good enough to make sure that you have a good feel of what is happening and be adaptable on the way.
Did the Argentina match, has that played any part in your build-up, the Argentina-New Zealand match? Have you spoken about that or gone through it and showed what can be achieved if you go out there with the perfect attitude?
No, we haven't spoken about it at all. No. This group has got guys that are unbelievably experienced in winning things. You know, winning a lot of things, and then again, we've got a completely different group at the other end of the scale. That's very. I'd say not as immature in the international game. So that's where we're at as a group. We're concentrating on ourselves. You know, we gain confidence by how we prepare and making sure that we understand how we want to play the game, and that's how we'll be going into the game.
Andy, Michael Corcoran here. The word physicality is thrown around the place an awful lot when it comes to preparing for matches. We've seen the physicality of England. We've seen the physicality of Saracens. Do you try to match what England do physically on Saturday, or do you try and make them think and do something different?
Well, there's a reasons why teams can be physical. You know, teams that are physical tend to have a flow to their gameplay in the right parts of the field. We know that England's game is very much a territory based game, and they try and force errors upon you, and obviously play in your half. We weren't able to be physical in our game because in the last outing there at Twickenham, because they harassed us in many areas really, and we weren't quite clinical enough in our exiting, in our set piece, etc. And when things start to go wrong like that, the other team tends to get an opportunity to be physical. You know, if things start going our way and we are able to play on the front foot, I've absolutely no doubt that we'll be physical back at them.
You have to be smarter with your kicking game, particularly in the backfield, because that could be an in for them into launching counterattacks.
Yeah, it's something that we've spoken a lot about throughout the whole of this campaign, not just for the England game, and also being aware of what they're trying to achieve as well goes along with our plan.
Andy, how are you? Can you take us through Ian Henderson's medical issue and how he got back onto the bench?
I actually can't, Gavin. It's a private issue that I'd leave to the medics and Ian. But he's he's fit and able and raring to go.
And just on, can you tell us your thought process behind, you've settled on James Ryan as captain this weekend for obviously a massive challenge for him going to Twickenham. What was your thought process that landed you on handing the armband to James?
Well, I've 100% seen a curiosity in James over the last 9 months of him maturing regarding his leadership's concerned. I think over the last couple of years, everyone's talked about James being a potential leader for this team, a potential captain for this team, and I saw something 9 months ago when we went into the Six Nations, the start of the Six Nations, where he actually started to think probably that while people are talking about me in this way, maybe I should start doing something about it. And he has 100% come to the fore in his curiousness of how he wants to lead, etc. And I've been super impressed over the last 9 months of how he handles himself first and foremost, and how he interacts and thinks about others as well.
Okay, thank you.
Andy, how's it going? Just kind of wanted to ask you about Pete O'Mahony going to open side. Like, when I saw that selection, the first game I thought about was that the Australia game in 2018 where he went up against Pocock in that position. Is that something you have in mind as well? Like, Pete's kind of being selected for a specific task for that game, and with the line out in mind as well.
Well, obviously, no player can do anything but be themselves. So what's Pete's skill set? We know how great he is in the line out, and we saw that last week. We know he's unbelievably good over the ball, and we know he can play an eyes up type of game with ball in hand as well. I thought his physicality last week was awesome. I thought he got on the ball and carried the ball hard as well. So we expect Pete to be nothing more than that, He'll be a threat no matter what, because he's a great player for us.
And this is the first Ireland game for maybe nearly a decade without a Murray or a Sexton starting against England. Like, it's just, it's a big chance for the two lads to kind of stake a claim, isn't it, as you said earlier?
Of course, it's a big chance for us as a group to find out where we're at, where we are on our journey. Like I said to you before, there's a bit of disparity in the mental age of this group. Some really experienced players and some youth as well, and we're trying to close that gap to see where we can move forward to together. To be able to find out about the group moving forward, we've got to give people a chance on the big stage, and this is a big game, and we find out about ourselves as a group, and we find out about the individuals as well on the way.
Cheers, Andy.
Okay, guys, we'll take the last one in this section.
And can I just pick one about Jacob Stockdale? Obviously, he's on the bench. If he was on the bench, was he fit enough to start, or was that just a formed decision with Hugo Keenan?
Hugo deserves another start again. Obviously, it's his first time to start at Twickenham, so we're excited about that for him. And I suppose we'll learn more about Hugo in that position after this game. I thought he did really well in the last game, and a little bit of continuity there. Jacob also missing a few training sessions, and I'm sure he'll be chomping at the bit, ready to go coming off the bench.